here we go. We've done the Crazy Quilt introduction, and now we're going to get started. So I hope you're going along with me. So in preparing everything and trying to get ready, I went down to the basement and I got my big bag of my Color Is quilt just to show you the fabrics. And then I also thought if it's the same colorway, I might want to take some fabrics out of here to use in the Crazy Quilt. So I want to share this with you guys, even if I have before, because it took me forever to figure out how I wanted to organize all my, my fabrics organized on shelves that Jim built for me in big tubs that are clear so I can see by color in the basement. And then all the projects I'm working on, since I do so many different things, rug hooking, embroidery, cross stitch. I got these bags on Amazon in all different sizes. And of course, because I'm Black Thread Studio and I don't think I'm boring, but I love black, so I did mine all in black. It keeps me organized. But look at all these different sizes that you can get them in. So that is how I'm gonna organize our Crazy Quilt project. And this is my Color Is. So that way, look, I haven't had this out for 4 years, 3.5 years. And I could go just grab the whole bag and know that everything that I was working on at the time is gonna be in here. I haven't looked in here yet because I'm telling you, everything's gonna be in here. So besides all the fabric, and then if there are smaller pieces like the hexie quilts I'm working on, they'll go in different bags and they're nestled in, is what I wanted to say. Okay, let's take a look. I'm going to show you the Outback fabric that I was telling you about that was my inspiration piece for this quilt. And as you can see, it's the same quilt or colors that I want to do for the Crazy Quilt. So although I don't think I'm a purple person, I do think I'm an eggplant combination topaz person. So I will get this back out again. Great fabrics I have in here stored. This is the backing, which I picked something that I had a lot of and it doesn't exactly match. But let me set this down and let's take a look at a few of the blocks that I did start. So this was one, a pinwheel. That's going to have a hexie flower in the middle. I don't even remember now what I did. Oh, and I was doing the big stitch quilting with, I know it was Cece's floss. And what was I using? A variegated floss that my friend Cece from the Thread Gatherer does. And this was an applique block that we did. This was done by machine, but this was the motif that I copied from a row pottery pot that I have. If you don't know, row pottery is from Cambridge, Wisconsin, where my family is on Lake Ripley. And I did little motifs there. Kind of just a raw edge machine applique. And then this was what I got together. This was just patches with stitching. This is going to be the center, as in sticking with a medallion, and that's a big yo-yo. And these are the only two that I got to put together. Doing this quilt as you go, which I had never done before. So, and it's going well. It's just that, you know, life happens and then I start making other things. But here's how you do the backing. This is stitched together by hand. These are seamed together by machine in the front here, and then stitched together in the, or hand stitched over in the back. So I'm gonna refold these in a different place so that they're not, well, they already are all creased, but okay. So let me get those put away. That is the, my Color Is, and you were supposed to pick whatever your color is, and then we were doing this quilt as a go, quilt quilt as you go. And let's put that on the agenda. We'll come back to that at a future date. Okay, so going off of that, now I ran out of tags, but I have the brown, you know, just the tags on all the others that I have down in the basement. I have tags even on all my cross stitch and embroidery things. I just have tags listed with what each project is. So this one I will put Crazy Quilt. So this is going to be our Crazy Quilt bag. And then with that, let me see what this is. Oh, this is a wool applique. Just to show you some different sizes. This was a wool applique that I was working on. I've already got all my floss for the Crazy Quilt in here. And as I need other things, I will, if I need, I'll just add them to different bags and then I'll put them in the big bag. So, okay, this is how we're gonna get started. So I'm gonna bring you down so you can see what I'm doing. I am starting with the Humpty Dumpty in the center. Now, let me preface this by saying I have done a partial Crazy Quilt block before, just out of curiosity and trying to see if I could do it and if I would like it. Years ago I started one, and I was using the traditional black and red and gold, those colors. So what I'm saying is this is truly my first Crazy Quilt. So we're kind of doing this together. Mistakes we'll figure out together. If you guys are really well versed and prolific at this, share your information with me so I can you know, learn something too. But this is where we're starting. So I picked out my embroidery piece from Amy Barrickman's Red Work, A Stitch in Time with Mother Goose. I'm doing all nursery rhymes, nursery rhyme characters, and my Humpty Dumpty is going to be the center medallion with everything else coming off of that. Because of the way my brain works, I want my blocks to be larger, just larger. So it's more contained and focused, I think. Although that doesn't make sense when you're talking about a Crazy Quilt, but I think you know what I mean. So this is the piece that I found that was left over from a different quilt that I'm making. I have so many started. I really want to finish this one too. It's called Mr. Moon, I Think I Love You. And there's a whole story about my first date with Jim and how that fits in. But this was a man's kind of silky shirt that I found at Goodwill that I cut up for that quilt. And this is a little piece I found left off of it. So as you can see, I kind of have it chopped up, but this little hem part here, I'm gonna cut that off and leave enough room so that I can turn under the raw edge so that I can use that somewhere in the Crazy Quilt in one of the blocks. The other thing I thought was, this is so, it's not really as thin as you would think, but it's very see-through and flimsy. So I was debating whether or not I was gonna back it with some kind of muslin, and I am. I have just a really basic white sheet. It was a new white fitted sheet that I found at Goodwill that was still in the package, but it's really inexpensive, cheap. It's not any good fabric that I would use, but it's perfect for backing. So as we go through, if I need any kind of reinforcement on the back of any of what I'm gonna embroider, I'm gonna slip that on the back. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to trim off this little piece to save that. I am going to take my white sheeting and I'm gonna cut that so that it matches up here. I'm trying to think, will I use an embroidery hoop? I could use a temporary spray glue to put the the sheeting on the back, but I don't want that sticky stuff that I'm going to have to stitch through. I could pin it together, which I might do, or I'll just find an embroidery hoop that's going to work to keep it kind of all together. I think I will use an embroidery hoop. So let me grab an embroidery hoop. I'm going to grab the base for this, and then when we come back, I'm going to show you how I'm going to trace this and get it onto my fabric. Okay, so I gathered a few things together and I think we're off and running. So first thing is that I did cut a piece of that. You can see it's very sheer, thin sheeting. It's kind of even stiff and doesn't feel that nice. So it's perfect. It's perfect for the backing of this. So if you see old sheets or something like that at Goodwill and you're okay using them for something like this, it's perfect. Okay, the other thing I wanted to tell you was that on this piece I'm using, I did cut off that little lace, but do you see this kind of tape mark up there? And then there's a little slit here, and then there is a slit on the end here. So I'm not going to worry about that. I didn't even measure what size this was because that's not what this is about. This is about the willy-nilly, the random, offset, symmetrical, fun, crazy quilt. Those parts will either get covered up or they'll just get cut off. So here's what we're going to do. I am not pinning these two pieces together yet, and I did make this one a little bit bigger just so I could kind of keep track of making sure that I have enough on the back. What I'm going to do first is trace out for the Humpty Dumpty and transfer it to my fabric. Now there's a couple different ways to do this. I'm sure you all know the trick about putting it up in a window. I didn't make a copy of this. I'm just using it right out of the book. So for me to put it up in the window, I was also getting this image on the other side. And again, I'm not making a copy. I do have one of the newer fancy, if you want to call it fancy, light boxes I got on Amazon. They're that little, where the old light box I had was a big clunky thing. I was going to use this. It's not plugged in and I can't find the plug for it, so we're not doing that. My next option would be I'm going to trace the Humpty Dumpty onto freezer paper. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape it down so that this doesn't shift, and I'm going to trace Humpty Dumpty on here, and then with my shiny side I'm going to iron that onto my fabric, and then I should be able to, I'm actually going to iron it to the wrong side of the fabric, which is opposite than when we used it for applique, because then I'm going to be able to trace Humpty Dumpty onto here using a water-soluble marker. But for right now, when I trace it onto here, I'm using a Sharpie so that it's dark enough and I can see it. The only problem, and it's not really a problem, but the only thing is when I do that and I transfer it and iron it onto the back of the fabric to trace, my image is going to be reversed. So if that matters to you, then you won't want to do it this way. I really looked at Humpty Dumpty. I am not going to be thrown off if he's reversed and he's flip-flopped and facing the other way. So this is how we're going to do it. So bear with me as I bring you down, because I'm taking you with me step by step, okay? Here we go. So I will have you back and forth, so just bear with me. Okay, here's Humpty Dumpty. I have some nice packing tape. Oh, it's brand new. I haven't even used it yet. Look at that. Not an easy task, you know. Okay. So I'm just going to tape. I want to make sure this is kind of not going to shift on me. So my end and my top are long enough that I'm taping this. I'm not taping my book. I guess it wouldn't bother me if I did. I would just be really careful, but I don't want to rip the pages by peeling that tape back off. So I want you to know I lost the end of it, even though I had it going through the way it was supposed to. Okay, this is the kind of stuff that frustrates me. Okay, I'm not messing with that. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take something heavier. Hey, I know. I'm gonna grab these scissors and just set it down on the bottom there to keep that from shifting. Hopefully that will work. Okay. Now, can you guys see? I'm going upside down. I guess it doesn't matter. This is kind of throwing me off a little bit though, and I want this to be really, really come out correct. So I'm gonna have you be upside down while I'm tracing Humpty Dumpty. Okay, and then that way I can tape that and then hold this tight since I messed up my tape. Okay, now if there's any little detail that I really don't care for, I don't even have to copy it over. I can just leave it off. And I guess what I'm referring to is, like, he has these little wisps of hair here. There's quite a few, but I kind of made them bigger and left out a couple. His eyebrows, his eyelids, his cute little expressive eyes. And this is only going to turn out as good as what I'm tracing and then how I'm going to embroider over it. So like these details, like his mouth, and if I want something exaggerated, I can do that. Got his little kind of double chin there. His collar. So while I'm tracing this, do you want me to tell you guys a show that I found that I kind of binged watched last weekend? Okay, his head isn't as round, so I'm gonna fix that. So I had a free 3-month trial with my phone for Apple TV, which I haven't done before. So I signed up for that, and I found this show called Lessons in Chemistry. And I know there's a book. One of the girls that I work with has read the book and told me how good it is. Oh, it's so good. I finished the whole thing. Just really, really good about this woman who's a scientist and the other scientist that she reluctantly, I guess, falls in love with. But if you guys know it, then you'll know that I'm not just saying that it's good, that it was really good. And if you haven't seen it, then you might want to look it up. Talking and doing this at the same time is a little bit like patting your head and rubbing your stomach. I don't know why. So let me concentrate just for a second. Okay, the polka dots on his tie. What might not come out very good is his little fingers here. I do everything very large. I don't rate small. I don't do anything small. So we'll see how that comes out. We have to have the brick wall. that he's sitting on. So, oh gosh, I just thought about it. I thought, oh, I can't wait till I'm done with this. But then once we're done with it, we have to trace it onto the fabric. So I guess you have to be in the mood to do this. I guess I'm in the mood. So if you can't see it very well, just push down on the paper so that you can see it. And you know what? You guys know me. It's not going to matter if it's not perfect, right? You know, we're just getting the essence of Humpty sitting here. His little cute little pointy shoes. Almost remind me of little elf shoes. If Amy drew these, she's really talented. Amy Barrickman, do you guys watch her? Okay, let me see if I'm missing any details here. I guess I like having this not taped down because I can always flip it up and see what I'm doing, right? Kind of made his... Okay, let's just finish this up real quick. Well, there's a crack in the wall. A crack in the wall, but Humpty's not cracked, so I guess that's good. Good news for him. Although, I will tell you guys, I feel cracked. That's why I took time off work unexpectedly this week. Okay. Wow, that turned out good. Okay, there's the book. There's my drawing. Pretty good, huh? Okay. Now, let's move this out of the way. What I didn't grab was a fabric pen, but I will do that really quick here. So, let's see. That, even though it doesn't matter that I pointed out, I think that's the back side of the fabric. No, it's really not, but I'll just do it the way I was going to do it. Okay, so let's find the middle of the fabric. Because I do kind of want to get this centered. Do you know, I didn't even lay Humpty out to see if he was going to fit on this. That's how much we're winging it. But yep, he's going to fit. I'm just eyeballing Humpty Dumpty. I'm not even really caring if he's like center. I'm just kind of looking at my top and bottom and seeing how it looks, because I want this much extra that I'm going to be building on. Even after I embroider him, I don't care if some of my pieces go over, you know, where he is. Okay, let's think about this. Do I want to move him down more so that it's like the wall? He's sitting on the wall. And then there's more embellishment area up here. I think that's what I'm going to do. Do you see what I did? I just moved the whole wall down. And then I think I'm going to use a strip of fabric down here that makes it look like it's part of the wall, you know, or resting on. And then I'll have the rest of it to do more strippy and embellishments on. Okay, so, oh, you know what I just did? I told you we were ironing this on the, oh, I am. I'm ironing this on the back side of the fabric. I was kind of talking about two different things. This is the back of the fabric that I'm ironing this to, so then I will be able to see, hopefully, through this. Yep, I will. Okay, so I have a little wool ironing pad here. I have the shiny side down. I'm being careful not to iron over my tape right there. So I got this little iron on Amazon when they had the Amazon days, because I've been wanting the bigger one, but I got this one as a little travel iron to take on my quilt retreat. And I knew I would use it for more than that. And look at, I'm already using it. Look how handy that cute little iron is. Okay, so Humpty should be ironed down securely onto my base fabric here. Just go over it one more time. Okay. So ironed onto the wrong side of the back side, wrong side. And then here's my right side. And that tape is bubbling it a little bit. I almost grabbed my permanent Sharpie to start drawing. I can see that well enough. Can you see that or not? It's going to be a little bit harder. I'm going to have to push hard. Maybe next time I'll use the thicker marker, and that will be easier to see. Now, I had that graphite pencil that I used with Elaine, and it's still packed away. I don't know where it is. Okay. This is Aunt Martha's. It is a transfer pen. I didn't want to, or pencil. I didn't want to use it because it's red. But with the two colors I'm going to embroider with, the brown or the purple, I guess if the lines don't come out, that will probably cover it pretty well. Okay, once again, I'm just going to start tracing this. And so that, and now it's going to be backwards from what I did last time. So this is going to be how I'm going to do it. I'm going to get this done, and then I will be right back with you. So I wanted you guys to see, I ended up taping this in my front window. Look how much clearer I can see that. So this would be the same as if you were putting that on a light box, but I'm going to go ahead and keep tracing and go all the way around and get Humpty onto the fabric. Okay, here we are. I must say, I think this is fun so far. Let's take all the tape off. I was having a hard time in the window. I couldn't see for sure. The red didn't look like it was that dark, that pronounced. But then when I got it out of the window, it looks great. It looks fantastic. Okay. So there's the image. Traced from that. I'm going to peel this off. Guess what I'm going to do with that? I'm going to put it in a file, and I'm going to save that, because that might just be able to be used another time. That can be ironed on maybe 3-4 times on the fabric before it won't be really sticky anymore. Okay, there we go. So let's start to embroider. Now, like I said, I decided that I was going to use, let's see, my main stitching colors for the embroidery, just the images, are going to be, now these are so close in color you can't even tell, but the brown and the purple. But those are going to be the main body of all of the motifs that I'm going to do. Once I choose an accent color, I might come in and just add a few, like I might do the polka dots on the tie in a different color. But again, I haven't decided. I think this is one of Cece's silk dyed ribbons that was sitting here. I'm almost kind of thinking a color like this, like a smoky kind of grayish blue. Gosh, that would be pretty with that, wouldn't it? Now this also goes in with Crazy Quilting. I never even thought about that till just now, you guys. Look at all Cece's ribbons that I have. hold your horses, pull up your pants. We're going to be using these too. Now I'm even more excited. Oh gosh, that just means when I go to Idaho in November and I see Cece, I'm going to have to do more shopping than I thought. Okay, I really like that color with the purple and the gold. So we're going to save all those and come back to it. But to start, let's get back to our embroidery part. But that's the fun of, you know, kind of planning these things. So it's not going to matter what side of this is what. I just want to make sure I was leaving a little bit of room so I can make it a little bit bigger so that I wasn't fighting, making sure it wasn't going to be too small or anything like that. I shouldn't iron on my mat, but that little part was flipping up. Okay, so to get this to secure down, that's the hoop. I like to use a small hoop because when I'm stitching, I tend to be closer to my left hand. If I'm in a really big hoop and I'm getting over here, then my hand starts to hurt. This way I can keep it, it's a lot more balanced for me and easier on my hands. So I am going to just stick some pins in here. Those nice little applique pins. What I like about them is they're less likely to poke you and get in the way. And these are, I believe mine are Dritz. So I'm just going to put some all the way around. Now I'm just wondering what you guys are thinking. If you're participating, if you're going to see how it goes and then think about it. What I'm hoping is that you'll be really inspired. And this is what I'm going to say. If you're inspired, even if you want to do, let me talk to you for a minute. Even if you want to do just a block, if I'm going to turn this into a lecture, I would love to have your pieces included in the slideshow for the lecture. So if you guys decide to do anything with a crazy quilt, if you have one you've made, if you have an old one that you cherish, if you're going to learn this and do it with me, if you guys have anything, I'm going to put that out there. I kind of have already decided, haven't I? This is going to be a lecture. So if you have anything that you want to share with me, you can let me know. You can always email me at blackthreadstudio@yahoo.com and just put from YouTube or something like that in the subject, because some things go to my spam and I forget to look in there. That makes me think, I hope one of the Pincushion girls didn't get back to me and it went to spam. I am going to check that. But anyway, oh, I'm getting more excited. Okay. Oh, I'm getting more excited. Okay. All right. So let me finish pinning this, and then we're gonna get started just with a simple kind of back stitch embroidery stitch. Oh, it's always good to entertain and crack yourself up because you know. Okay, so but I'm so excited. Okay, I'm going to bring you down. I'm kind of thinking, now you are going to be upside down. I'm sorry, I can't stitch Humpty upside down. It'll get me all twisted. But we're going to look at what parts you think I should do brown and what parts purple and then what parts I'm going to add. I just had an idea. So let me bring you down and show you Humpty a little bit closer. And I am going to get really close, okay? So let's kind of rearrange. The trick with doing this is, because you know I'm not technical, is getting you close enough, but having the camera at an angle where I can still see what I'm doing. Okay, you know what? Would it be cute? Now this is just an idea. What if I used this ribbon and did kind of French knots for the polka dots? I think that might be what I'm gonna do. So let's see. And actually what I'll do, I'm going to have to put out a call to Cece. This is called Slate Blue. I am going to see if she has, actually, I think I see Okay, I gotta reach over you guys just for a minute. Oh, do I see Floss, her color? Well, I don't. But I'm gonna reach out to her and see if I can get matching Floss this color. So, okay. All right, I think what I'm gonna do is for the body of, since these are so close, you know, I don't want it to be boring, but I think I'm gonna just stitch like the whole outline body part in brown. And then maybe up in here with the ruffles and his jacket, do that in the purple. Let's just start there. Let's just start by doing his head. Okay, so here's where you have to be upside down. And I will try to bring you close enough. So he's centered really good there. Now, I have not invested in any really great, nice hoops. Perhaps someday I shall. Most of them, like this isn't a bad hoop. I don't even know what kind it is, but most of them I get at thrift stores. But you do want that. I like mine pulled nice and tight. And some people do embroider in hand. But I don't. Okay, here we go. I mean, if you do too long, you'll have more chance of it getting twisted, but if you do too short, then you run out and you have to thread your needle all the time. Okay, so doing my Graham's knot that my Graham taught me. Nice little knot. I should probably show you, let's see, what needles I'm working with. And I am working with, these are just DMC chenille number 24. And the reason I like them is because they are pointy and the head is big enough for the thread to go through, but it's not so big that it makes huge holes in the fabric. So I really, really like 24, size 24 chenille. Okay. I've got my knot in there. I always do cut off my little tails. I'm not crazy picky about my backs, but I do try to keep them as cleaned up as I can. So if you haven't embroidered before, or if you have, I'll just talk you through it. Let's see, which way do I go? Do I go clockwise? I guess I do. Okay, so if I go clockwise and I'm right-handed, I'm gonna pick a spot. I kind of, did I mess up a little bit here? Because do I want to start where the hoop is at, is what I was thinking, but I guess I don't. What I'm gonna do is start at his double chin, right here. And I guess it doesn't, maybe I do go this way. It isn't easy, you know. It isn't easy being me. I'm really close to this edge, but I'm gonna make it work. So it's just, the key is to try to come back about the same distance for your stitches all the time. You poke down and come up, and I'm pushing up on the bottom with this finger, and you want to hold everything out of the way. I'm pushing up, and then I'm coming out above that. Now, I always pull mine tight, but you can't get it pulled too tight. Go down, come up, and just keep going this way. Now, if you're turning a corner or doing, you know, going on a curve, you're going to want to take a little bit smaller bite in your stitch. And, you know I do this. My Graham did it. I think that's why I do it. Every time I take a stitch, I'll show you. I do it and I don't even think about it. Every time I take a stitch, whoops, every time I take a stitch, I go like that. Even if it doesn't have to be pushed out of the way, I go like that. And I know that I can see her doing it. And of course, she's the one that taught me how to sew and do everything. So it's just, I don't know, getting it out of the way, smoothing it out, making sure everything is right with the world and right with that stitch. And I'm going to go all the way around. Now there's different stitches that we can use. This is my favorite. I like the thickness of it. It's easy to go around corners. I believe that's just a back stitch. I always call it a running stitch, which isn't true. A running stitch, I think, is when you poke up and down, and we'll do that on something else. But now I don't know if you want to watch me. Now, someone told me that they preferred no music. And then when I was at the retreat, I didn't add music when I was at the, when we were at the stitchery, and everyone complained and said they wanted music in the background of the video. So I guess you can't please everyone. And what I'm gonna do is, I think I'll just keep stitching along and add a little bit of pretty music to it for you, okay? So I didn't go all the way around with the embroidery yet. I will finish doing this off of the recording, off of camera, because it's going to take a while. And basically I'm just going to do that same stitch everywhere. If I'm going to do a different stitch, I'll show you what I'm going to do. I think what I'm going to do to finish off the video today is I grabbed a couple pieces out of my bag that I want to use on this centerpiece. Now, I was thinking it's a shame because I'm just chopping these new fabrics up into pieces, where Crazy Quilt is really good for all those scraps that you have that you're not using, but that's okay. I'm just chopping them up and we're using them because these are the fabrics I want to use. So what I came up with is, now I'm just going to do a couple of these so I can show you what I'm going to do, but I'm not going to do anything else until I finish getting Humpty embroidered. And then I'm going to come in and really start filling in. I'll show you kind of what I'm going to do. And then the next video will be finishing up piecing these other fabrics to this. And then we'll do a little bit of embellishment. But what I decided is I kind of did want a strip of fabric down on the bottom like this, you know, kind of for the, just to anchor that brick wall. I am gonna stitch this on so I can show you how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna stitch it. Now I just cut a random piece and it just happened. This is the man's shirt and I just cut up the sleeve right now. I will go through and cut off all those buttons and save them. Sometimes things like that, the cuff, I kind of leave because I might use that as kind of a funky embellishment someplace. So I did cut that off. I'm going to just sew this randomly. I don't even care if it's straight, but I do want the brick where I'm gonna embroider to show. I don't want this right on top of the embroidery, if you see what I'm saying. So to stitch that down, I'm gonna move my pins, just going in the other direction and put them on the edge, because I still don't want this to shift. And I don't want to run over my pins, although sometimes I do that too. Okay, so shall we go over the machine? So I'm just kind of eyeballing this. I want this to be here. So if I use this as my edge, like for my sewing, my pressure foot, to line that up, then I should be okay with how that's going to be lined up. So do you want to come to the machine with me? Let's see how if we can make this work. Wouldn't it be nice if I had somebody to record me? I would not put that on Jim. Oh, look at all my mess. Okay, here we go. Then I'll show you what I'm going to do with the other piece. For right now, I just have an off-white, kind of an ecru color in here. Probably as I go along, since this is so light colored, I'll leave that like that. As I get where I'm stitching the darker, I might switch to like a brown or a kind of a taupey gray color. So I'm just going to do a regular straight stitch. Now, you know, you could do a lot of this stitching with your machine, which is how I did it last time that I started doing the crazy quilt, but that's not how we're going to do it. So I'm just going to line this up. I have such a mess. The pedal to my machine is covered up with fabric. I can't even find it. Hang on. Okay, there it is. My foot's on top of fabric on top of my foot pedal. I did sew over a couple of those pins, which was okay, but so now I'm not going to need these pins down here. That's going to be secured, keeping that backing fabric to the front, and it's not going to shift. Okay, let's see what else we can do here. So I'm going to fold this down. I'm not going to have very, well, you know, that could add to my block. I could be making this bigger. See, when I fold this down, it's going past the yellow. I can make this bigger doing that this way. So let me iron that. I'm just going to press that back. Show you what I'm doing here. Now, I don't know, I have to read about that. I'm being very careful because the iron might take that red chalk pencil off. I haven't figured out how that, if that's water or sometimes it's heat. Okay, so that nice seam, that doesn't look so crazy quilty yet, but once I get things stacked over on that seam is where we'll do some of the embellishments. Now here's the other idea I had, except now I lost that fabric. Okay, when I cut this piece off, it had in the fabric that little blue string, and I thought, well, that's kind of cute. So I thought, what if I stitch that across here? And that's going to give me an angle, and stitch it right to this, and then I'll fill in this corner with something different, and then I might use that blue thread as an embellishment to either tack down a bead or a button or something like that. So I don't know that I'm going to stitch it all the way down yet, but I do, in case I want to slip something underneath. And see how that edge of that fabric was frayed? I like that. I want to keep that. So I am going to, I'm not going to worry about folding this edge over because I'm going to be stacking another piece on top of this to cover that raw edge. So let me just show you what I'm going to do. And then I was going to use that same plaid across the bottom, so I'll have to find that to show you. But I'm just kind of making sure that it's going to go over the ends here. And I love how that string is hanging out there. So I'm just going to stitch this down. But I'm not going to stitch the whole thing down because I want to make sure, again, that if I want to slip something underneath that edge, that I have that to flip up. Okay, now that's secure down, so I'm going to take this pin out. Now, bear with me because I want to grab that other piece of plaid that I had cut like this, because I actually wanted to make it go over the end here. So let me see what happened to it. And if I can't find it, I will just snip off another one. The other thing you can do is just tear your fabric. Right here. I love that you guys are so patient with me. When I don't, it isn't that I don't know what I'm doing, I just, you know, by the seat of my pants most of the time. Okay, so see, I'm just going to chunk this. I'm just going to chunk a piece off. I'm not worried about it. There. See, I might like this better than the piece that so there's that frayed edge again. So what am I thinking? Am I thinking to stitch it on and do that with it? Maybe I should have read directions on how to make a crazy quilt. But I think what I'm doing is I'm going to stitch it and flip it back, but I want to make sure that I have enough to cover up that edge, because I don't want a whole lot of, you know, I want bigger pieces. So let's see how this is going to work. And that was kind of at a curve. So let's see how that's going to work. It is curved. So that's going to bubble up. But I could just iron that down. Okay, I ironed it at a curve, and that's going to be bubbled up. So what I'm going to do, I think I'm just going to iron it down that way. And then it will have a little bit more of a bump to it. You know, a little bit more of texture. Let's do that. And so what I like is that I have the frayed edge here, so that's not, nothing's going to happen to that. And then this little piece is probably going to get cut off, you know, when I put the blocks together. So I'm just going to leave that like that. I was thinking if I needed to tack that down a little bit. But I think I'm going to leave that open because I can stick another piece of fabric underneath there to layer it. So now I'll be adding more fabric, so it's going to look a little bit more crazy. So what do you guys think? Let's come back over. Let's come back over. Gotta make sure I don't burn myself on the iron. Okay. I'm gonna finish going around him with brown. I might do his jacket in purple, and then I'm gonna do I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna do CC's silk for the tie. And then look what I found. It's not CC's thread, but I found cotton thread from Gentle Arts. And I've had this for a long time. It doesn't say what color it is, but look. So see, it doesn't match, but can you guys see how the toning kind of flows? And that's what I like to do. I like to make things look good that don't necessarily match. I like there to be a little surprise. I don't want it to be real predictable, like, okay, use all these color flosses like I did have picked out and nothing else. I want to add a little zing to it. So this is going to be a really good project for me to do this afternoon. It's so nice out. I think Jim and I are going to go for a ride and see the colors changing. And I wasn't going to say anything, but I'll just tell you guys, I'm really proud of myself for getting by today and having kind of a calm sadness. Today is 3 years ago that Sam passed away, and I'm okay. I miss him. I want to hug him. I want to see him. I want to hear that stupid little grin giggle that he had, and have him rub my back and say, "It's okay, Mom," the way he always did. But I know he's in heaven. I just know he is, and he sees and hears, and so that's what gives me peace. And it's been a good day despite that. So I didn't know if I was going to share that with you guys. That's why I said it was the middle of October in my first video, but it's October 17th. And it was a fun, full day that Sam got to spend with his sister and niece and nephew and his aunts and uncles and grandma. And it was just the perfect day. So I'm so blessed to have that. And in case I haven't said this, Sam came to pick up his laundry, and when he left, after we spent the whole day together, he left and he gave me the biggest hug, tell me what a great day he had, and actually picked me up like out of joy and hugged me and said, "Mom, I love you so much. I love you so much." And I walked him outside and waved goodbye. And again, I didn't think I was going to tell this part, but he went home, and it was like 9:30, and 9:30, 10 o'clock, and he had just downloaded Prime Video because I gave him, shared my account with him, and he had just downloaded that because the next day he had his icon up on the TV when I signed into Prime, and it wasn't there before. And he passed away really peacefully, sitting on his little studio bed, getting ready to watch TV. And this might be another topic for another time, but it was fentanyl. It was fentanyl that was mixed with a Percocet that he took for pain in his foot from a car accident he had. And I'm not saying he was a saint, because Sam dabbled in, he loved that marijuana. He just did. And that was always a fight with us. But oh my gosh, he was such a good, sweet kid. He was so good. Anyway, thank you so much. And thank you for letting me share that with you, because despite that, today is a good day. Today is a really good day. I got to be home. I got to spend it with you guys. I got to start this great project. And I hope you'll follow along. I hope you'll follow along. So the other thing I can tell you is that Saturday, I am going to see Donna with West Suburban Quilt Guild, the president, and we had to reschedule that. When we had that scheduled in September, her power went out. And we didn't think that was going to work out very good for me to go over that day. So we have rescheduled that. So you guys might be bombarded with these two videos and Donna's, because knowing me, I'll be excited after I leave Donna's on Saturday, and I'll want to share that with you. A lot of times YouTube takes forever to download a video, so you might not get there till Sunday. So this is what I have to say. Enjoy these bombardment of videos because I had the time to do them. So introduction to quilt, crazy quilting, the start of one, and then watch for Donna on Saturday. And I am so grateful for you guys. I'm so happy that you are here with me. And I hope we just continue to go forward and build Black Thread Studio as kind of our group. And I will talk more about it, but I'm serious about doing the crazy quilts as a lecture and including the things that you guys have made. Pictures of them, or I'm serious about that. And I'm getting that idea from Deanna David, who I adore. I adore her. She's a rug hooker. She does do other things, but I watch, she's on Ribbon Candy Hooking. Ribbon Candy Rug Hooking and Punch Needle is her Facebook, and I adore her. She did a fiber talk with Gary last Sunday. So if you guys didn't see that, I think you should watch it. She is, she's phenomenal. I just love her. I love her personality. And she is the biggest cheerleader of everyone else's work. And she actually is publishing her followers. She's publishing their work in a magazine that she started. She's doing books. And I think that is so wonderful of her. And honestly, that's where I got this idea. It kind of just popped into my head while I was talking to you today. But yes, let's do the Crazy Quilt lecture and let me share your things if you're making those, or if you have something that you want to share along that line. So I'm not doing a magazine. I'm not doing a book. I'm not going that far as to, I am inspired by Deanna, but not to become a publisher. But I am inspired to share your work because, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be ours, right? Okay, you guys have a beautiful weekend and watch for Donna on Saturday. Okay, bye-bye.